So we're talking about how to use your percussion gun or your massage gun on the lower body. So the way that I like to start this is I like to work my abdominals and at the very top of my pelvis, which is called the iliac crest. That has a lot of attachments for our low back, and then eventually lots of attachments just below the iliac crest for our glutes, our hips, our legs. So I'll turn on my massage gun and I like to put it on the lowest level. You can see it's working. I have kind of a broader attachment, but this little guy, it actually is kind of squishy. And I like to use this one because it has some good give, especially when I'm working in my abdominals, because we have organs here and we want to be really mindful of that. So we'll turn her on. And I like to start by working right up around, like I'm working just on the very tippity top of that pelvis, the iliac crest. Then I'm gonna work kind of following the pelvic bone into my abdominals. Right now I'm working my external obliques. And if you go just a touch deeper, you're gonna start working your psoas, and iliacus. Iliacus is that guy that is kind of right here on the edge of our pelvis. So I'm going to work down in here. Again, I'm listening to my body right now because I don't want to damage anything while we're working here. You're not going to, as long as you don't work there for like a super long time or you're not putting too much pressure here. I have just enough pressure to feel comfortable and feel like I'm getting some good movement and circulation. I can work all the way down at kind of like the top of my pelvis. This is important. This is work that we don't love to have done by someone else. Lots of us are comfortable with that, but a lot of us aren't, and that's okay. This is a great tool to use on yourself because you have autonomy over this work. I'm working down now into my hip flexors where my quads attach. I'm going to work down into my adductors. These muscles are the muscles that bring our leg back together to the midline of our body. They do a lot of work for us. And I can work really close in my pelvis here because it's my body. I'm working down. This would be ideal to use with clothing that's not going to drag a whole bunch. My pants kind of drag right now, so it's kind of awkward, but that's something to remember. I'm working all the way down into my knee attachment. And I'm not really working on the bone of the knee, but I can feel where my muscles attach on the knee. Now I'm bringing it up kind of like a little paper clip. So we're going down and now we're coming back up the quad, and I'm just going to kind of give like some nice circular movement here and really just work. Your quads are strong. They're a really strong muscle group, our hamstrings as well. So you can really dig in here. You can make it work a little bit for you. So I'm coming back up and I'm right back up at those hip flexors. I'm going to work into TFL or tensor fasciae lata. That's a really big one for abduction, rotation, extension, flexion. That TFL does a lot of work for us, so I really like to work it. Now I'm going to come down my IT band, which can kind of kill, but it's a good thing. And we're going to work all the way down at that knee attachment once more on that lateral side of the body. Until I feel like everything's kind of integrated, until I feel like, okay, I've hit everything that needs some work. The abductors are a really big piece of the puzzle for hip pain. And so I really do like to spend some good time here at my abductors. I'll work into my glutes, and I can work all the way back into the glutes. Finally, we're kind of coming down into our sits bone, and it's kind of looks silly, but it gets the job done. I'm at the sits bone where my hamstrings attach. A lot of my glute attachments are there, and I'm gonna just work my hamstrings all the way down. Hamstrings can be kind of tickly because they also do a lot of work for us, so just at your own kind of pace here. If you're having trouble kind of reaching hamstrings from this position, you can also move this way. You can also sit down in a chair. You can sit down on the ground. There are lots of ways to reach hamstrings, but I think that this is a good way to do it too. So I've kind of met all of the muscles on my thigh, and now I'm going to start working right down at these knee attachments. This is where maybe I'd want to change my attachment because these guys just get a little bit smaller, actually relatively quite smaller compared to our big muscles and muscle groups on our thigh. So this is when I actually am going to change to a bullet. These can be the intensity with the bullet can be quite a bit more. So just be mindful of that. But the bullet can be really good for like pinpointing those pressure points and getting down into those small areas near my ankle. If I were sitting down, I could effectively kind of move my ankle around while I'm doing this. Kind of the energy of pin and stretch, but not the same thing. Range of motion of the ankle helps kind of break up the calf without having to do a whole bunch of movement of that massage gun. And then finally, I'm going to come right back up, right close to the shin. This can hurt. It's a good hurt. Do not work directly on your shin. That will just hurt. And once I feel like everything's kind of gotten a good run through, everything kind of feels a little bit different than the other leg, then I will stop. I'll maybe reassess, kind of talk to my body, tune in. Maybe there's going to be some other areas that need a little bit more work. And since I already have this bullet attachment on, that's maybe when I would go in and be a little bit more specific in certain areas. Areas that we want to be really mindful of are the back of our knee, where our popliteal artery lives. Our femoral artery also lives right in this femoral triangle. So I did a lot of work right through here, but I'm not pressing directly where that artery is. You can feel it. Like you can put your fingers there. You can feel a heartbeat or that pressure point or the pulse point. Don't work your massage gun there directly. That won't be healthy. The other thing to be mindful of, especially in the calves with a bullet attachment, if you have any varicose veins or deep vein thrombosis, anything that would already be contraindicated for massage, don't work, even with a broader attachment, over those areas directly. That's a local contraindication. And even it can be a complete contraindication for a massage gun. So I would just really make sure that you're educated in that place for your body. Thank you for being here with me today, letting me show you a little bit about how to use your tools at home to address the lower body. My name is Ty. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, anything, come see me at Pearson & Weary Chiropractic, and I'm looking forward to seeing you.